Hare Krishna, everyone.
हरे कृष्णा माता
हरे कृष्णा माता जी।
हरे कृष्णा
कृष्णा माता जी। हरे कृष्णा माता जी।
Jai.
हरे कृष्णा माता जी।
Down here. Let's do our Mangala Charanam. Om Gyanatimirandasya Gyanandana Shalakaya Chakshu Militanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Hey Krishna Karuna Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radha Shri Vishaka Vaishnaveta Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pustaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachardane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane. Okay, well, it's good to be back here with all of you again. And we're going to be starting chapter 5. Whew. We're making progress here through the Bhagavad Gita. So yesterday we heard about transcendental knowledge, approaching a guru, how all the different sacrifices cultivate in knowledge, how if we really want to have proper knowledge, we need to find a guru, inquire submissively, render service, and how the guru can clear up our illusion by bestowing upon us transcendental knowledge, and how that knowledge can change our destiny, right? Because it frees us from karma. It becomes like a boat that carries us across the ocean of material existence. It becomes like a sword that cuts through, slashes all of our doubts. So Krishna was glorifying transcendental knowledge in all of these ways. And then at the end, he says, armed with yoga, stand and fight. So then Arjuna gets a little confused because he's speaking so much about knowledge and guru. And so Arjuna's thinking, okay, great. I'm just going to go to the forest, go to some hermitage, find myself, cultivate knowledge and become a self-realized soul and cross over this ocean of problems that I have now in my life by knowledge. But then at the end of saying, then Arjuna's having those thoughts, and then Krishna says, now stand up and fight. So Arjuna's like, wait, what? I thought I was going to go and cultivate knowledge and, enroll in Bhakti Shastri course. And I thought I was getting out of this fight. And now Krishna, after saying that, is saying, fight. So Arjuna's confused. So now he starts chapter 5 by asking a question. So let's go ahead with question and the beginning of Krishna's answer. Who wants to read? Puna, oh, Hitika. Hitika, you need to unmute yourself. There we go. Still can't hear anything. Not audible. Okay, would someone else like to read? Oh, there you go. Now we can hear you, I think.
Chapter 5, text number 1, Arjuna said, "O Krishna, first of all, you asked me to renounce the work, and then again you recommend work with devotion. Now, will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial?"
Go ahead and read 2 and 3 as well, please.
The personality of Godhead replied, "The renunciation is of work, and work in devotion are both good for revelation. But of the two, work is devotional service is better than renunciation of work." Text number 3, one who neither hates nor desires the fruit of his activities is known to be always renounced. Such a person, free from all the dualities, easily overcomes material bondage and is completely liberated. O mighty armed Arjuna.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so when Arjuna is saying that, first of all, you asked me to renounce work. So yeah, sannyasam karmanam Krishna. That's how Arjuna starts. And so sannyasam karmanam, that's referring back to chapter 4, text 41, where Krishna says yoga sannyasta karmanam, that one should renounce action. So the way Arjuna understands that is sannyasta karma means that you should renounce your karma, you should renounce activities, like just don't do any activities. But one who acts in devotional service, renouncing the fruits of his activities, renouncing the fruits of his actions. So that's now Krishna is making that point more clear here. In text 2, when he starts his answer, he says, Sannyasa karma yogas cha nishaya karav uba. So he says, yeah, renunciation of work and work and devotion are both good, but devotional service is better than renunciation of work. Why? Because the point is that you need to renounce the fruits of your actions. Right? In text 3, he says, one who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities is known to be always renounced. So we don't give up the activities themselves, but we give up the fruits of activities. So Arjuna, he still has to fight, but now he's giving up any claim to proprietorship, any credit for the victory, any sense that, I'm the doer, and because by my strength and my intelligence and my skill, I was able to be victorious. Now the kingdom is mine, and I can use it and all of its resources and power for my sense gratification. That's what it's about. So the same thing, education, you're getting a degree, right? And you're passing your exams and you're getting so many accolades, achievements, and then you're working, you're earning money, you're getting promotion, you're getting position. Good. As long as you don't think that I'm the doer and I achieve these things by myself, and therefore I'm entitled to all the benefits that come. All the appreciation is for me. Like, I'm actually great. I'm highly qualified. I'm so smart. I'm, I earned this money because of my good qualities and qualifications. And so I can use this money for whatever I want. If we start thinking like that, that's how we get entangled. So we have to think, all of this is by Krishna's grace. I passed my exam by Krishna's grace. I got my degree by Krishna's mercy. Krishna gave me the intelligence. And yeah, are some of you not hearing? You able to hear?
Mataji is stuck in.
But see,
It's
your voice
stopping?
is voice is breaking.
Oh, really? Oh, it's showing here that my internet is okay. Is for everybody?
No,
Yes,
Since the
Mataji.
beginning?
no,
Or
no,
since the
no.
beginning
Clear.
or just now?
At some places, at sometimes it's breaking, but other now it's fine. But initially it was breaking, and in mid of the, I think, it's also breaking. For other, I don't know. Yes, for many of them, it's breaking.
Okay, so let's but now if it's clear now, let's just try, and if let's see. Yeah, if it continues to be bad, just let me know and I'll maybe have to move to a different
Okay,
place. Okay. Yeah, so we have to give up the attachment to that I'm the doer and I'm the enjoyer and all of this is mine. That's what sannyas means. Okay? That's what Krishna is saying here. So there's no contradiction here. It's not that either one thing is that you work with attachment or give up your work and be detached. You can also work and be detached at the same time. That's what Krishna is advising. Now, chapter 3 is called Karma Yoga, and chapter 5 is called Karma Yoga, Action and Krishna Consciousness. So we're going to see how the difference between these two chapters is that chapter 3, Krishna focuses more on actual activities. Excuse me. My voice is also breaking. In chapter 3, Krishna focuses on actual, like, do your prescribed duty, right? Know your nature. What can repression accomplish? Everybody has to work. You can't even maintain your physical body without work. Even if you're above the modes of nature and liberated, like Krishna himself, he still works just to set the example for others. So those are the kinds of things he's saying in chapter 3 about Karma Yoga. Now, chapter 5, Karma Yoga, the focus is going to be more internal. It's going to be more on your state of consciousness while you're working, which is the whole message of Krishna from the beginning. That it's not about the work or not working, it's about the consciousness. That's why it says Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. So this is very instructive for us because we're all active in the world, right? Our days, I'm sure your days are just as busy as mine. Everybody's busy doing some activity. So, but we need to do that in Krishna consciousness so that we don't get entangled by those activities. Okay. So now Krishna is saying that of the two, work in devotional service is better than renunciation of work. So there are two reasons why. And one is, can someone please mute Prachi? Host, whoever's the host. Thank you. Two reasons why action and devotion is better than renunciation of action. So first of all is that it's much easier, right? Because the nature of the soul is to be active. And Krishna said in chapter 2 that everyone is forced to act according to their nature. So just trying to shut down our senses and withdraw from the world is not practical. But if we engage our natural propensity for action in the service of the Lord, right, performing action with devotion, and that's easy because it goes with our natural state of being, and it's also joyful, right? We become happy doing that, and so it's something that's easy and joyful we're going to do without any difficulty. And then another reason why it's better is because it's a lot safer. Because if of devotional service, then our senses are going to just push us towards sense gratification. So yeah, it's one thing to have knowledge that, okay, I'm not this body, I'm a spirit soul, but that's not enough to liberate us. We have to actually act as souls, right? If we want to go back to the spiritual world, It's a place of action. Everybody there is serving, they're busy, right? The days are full of action. So we need to practice acting as souls, which means acting in the service of Krishna with other servants of Krishna, and doing that very spontaneously and blissfully and devotionally. Yeah, so spiritual life involves all different aspects of our existence: physical, mental, emotional, intellectual, and social. And so all aspects of our being can be absorbed in this process of devotional service. But if we don't, if there's any part of us that's not engaged in devotional service, then we have a chance of falling down. Just like, yeah, later on, I think in chapter 6, Krishna is going to say that if any one of the roaming senses that the mind focuses on can drag away our intelligence, just like a boat on the water can get swept away by a strong wind. So we need to keep all of our senses, and not just the senses of the body, like we hear about Maharaj Ambarish engaging his legs and walking to the temple, his hands in cleaning the temple, his eyes in seeing the deities, his ears in hearing the like that, all the senses, the power. It's not just the physical senses, minds in always thinking of Krishna. Right? Man mana bhavavad bhakto. Engage our intelligence in understanding the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, studying the scriptures. Engage our emotions in having an emotional connection with Krishna, and also with other devotees, right? Making nice friendships with devotees. And socially, we're also, human beings are social beings. So we need friends, for society, friendship, and love. And we should find that all in Krishna consciousness. So we can satisfy all of our needs in Krishna consciousness, and then we're safe. Right? Then we're not going to fall down, because we won't be looking outside to fulfill our needs, any of our needs. All of our needs will be met in the association of devotees in devotional service in Krishna consciousness. Okay, so it's easier, it's more natural, it's more joyful, and it's safer and fully satisfying, satisfies all of our needs. So yeah, devotional service is really the best way to go. And that's why Krishna is recommending it. He's making it very clear that action and devotion is better. Work in devotional service is better than renunciation of work. All right, let's go. Someone please read 4 and 5.
Mataji, may I?
Yes, go ahead.
Chapter 5, Test 4. Only test, Chapter 5, Test 4. Only the ignorant speak of devotional service, Karma Yod, has been different from the analytical study of the material world. Sankhya. Those who are actually learned say that he who applies himself well to one of these paths achieves the results of both. Test 5. One who knows the position reached by means of analytical study can also be attained by devotional service, and who therefore sees analytical study and devotional service to be on the same level, sees things as they are.
Thank you. Yeah, so yesterday someone was asking about the different types of yoga, and now Krishna's comparing here Sankhya yoga with devotional service, or karma yoga. Yeah, and he's saying that basically they're the same because they lead to the same thing, right? They both lead to the same goal, which is understanding the soul and understanding the Supreme Soul. So Krishna says here in text 4, he says, Sankhya Yoga Pritag Bala. Pritag means different, and Bala means a child. So he's saying that one who sees Sankhya Yoga as different from Karma Yoga is childish. They're like a child. Their intelligence is just like that of a child. So a child's mind is very quick to spot superficial differences. right? To make distinctions based on those superficial differences and to categorize this is different from that, right? Yeah, children do that. But those who have mature intelligence, they can see how things that are superficially different can be fundamentally very similar, right? So someone with very childish intelligence, they'll see, oh, these people from this religion and that religion, they dress differently, they have different haircut, they're different. So they're not, I don't talk to those people because they're different. They're just different. And but someone who's mature, who has like a deeper philosophical, spiritual understanding, they're like, no, we're all souls. We're all worshiping God. We're all saying our prayers to the same one God. And we're all, embracing similar spiritual values, like cleanliness and forgiveness and tolerance and, like that. But superficially, there may be some differences, but the main thing is the deeper underlying things. So that's mature, that's a sign of maturity, that we're able to see the unity in diversity. So Krishna is indirectly chastising Arjuna for thinking childishly by not seeing how the processes of knowledge and action and devotion are the same, right? Because he's thinking it's either knowledge or action. And Krishna is saying, no, they're not, it's not knowledge or action. The two are not mutually exclusive. They're not different paths with different goals, but they're just different aspects of the same path with the same goal, right? So all roads are leading to Krishna. Krishna says, Mama Vartmanu Vartante, Manushya Partha Sarvasha. Everyone is following my path in all respects. So Sankhya yogis, they're practicing slightly different, but it's the same path leading to Krishna. The same goal is to find Krishna, to know Krishna. And karma yoga, it's slightly different, superficially different, but it's the same path, trying to know Krishna and please Krishna. So, yeah. And both of them are essential, right? So we can't devote ourselves to someone that we don't know anything about. So we need knowledge of Krishna. And we can't devote ourselves to something when we're attached to something else. So we also need renunciation. If we're going to act with real devotion for Krishna, we need to know Krishna and we need to be a little detached from things that are unfavorable for the service of Krishna. And at the same time, if we act in devotion to Krishna, that is going to automatically bring about knowledge and detachment from the world. Because when Krishna is pleased with our devotional service, then he enlightens us from within. He gives us transcendental knowledge from within the heart. So, pursuing knowledge and our inspired processes carry us to the same destination. So that's why Krishna is saying that they're the same thing. Either you start with action and and that brings you knowledge, or you start with knowledge and that inspires you to action. It doesn't really matter. In the end, you end up with both things, knowledge and action. Voice is breaking again. Oh. Okay, I can move, but what's going to happen is it might be distracting because people might be talking in the other part of the house. Okay, let me just see what's happening out there. I'll tell them to be quiet. Okay, Okay, Hare Krishna. Oh, got like a big light behind me. Anyways, I hope the sound will be better here. So, where were we? Chapter 5. We read 4 and 5. Did you get what I was saying? Can someone just repeat what I was saying there about action and devotion and renunciation of work?
Mataji, you talk about the text number 4.
Okay, but what was I saying? Who heard it well enough to understand the point and can tell me what the point was? Otherwise, I have to say it all again.
Mataji, it was
Action.
about the Sankhya Yoga and the Karma Yoga are actually the same, but having the knowledge of if the karma is, I couldn't explain actually. The Sankhya Yoga and the Karma Yoga.
And you are
Okay,
saying
so
that the devotional service is better.
You were explaining that the one who sees the difference between Sankhya and the Karma Yoga and devotional service, that's childish, and you were explaining it further.
okay, so how is it that they're the same thing? Krishna's saying that they're the same thing. So how does a person with mature intelligence see that Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga are the same thing?
Because both are leading to the Krishna Bhakti.
Both are this
Okay,
goal, the path, the goal is same.
goal is the same. Okay, so Sankhya Yoga starts with what?
Understanding of knowledge.
Knowledge, the self, the soul,
Okay.
Detachment
understanding.
from the work.
Okay, so Sankhya Yoga starts with knowledge of the self and of the Lord, and it brings detachment of the world, and then by that knowledge inspires you to do what?
Devotional service.
Yes, devotional service. Okay, now
Work
it
with your
inspires you to
work with
action.
detachment.
Yeah, to act with knowledge and detachment for the pleasure of the Lord. Okay, so then Karma Yoga starts with what?
Devotional service. Acting for
Doing
Krishna.
action.
Okay, Karma Yoga starts with action, and then what happens as a result of that action when it's done in connection with Krishna?
Knowledge. Please knowledge.
You get knowledge and detachment, right? So one is starting with knowledge and leading to detachment and inspiring one to action, and one is started with action and the result in bringing one to knowledge and renunciation. So at the end of either one of those paths, you end up with the same three things: action for Krishna with knowledge and detachment from this world, right? So in that sense, they're the same, even though they look different. Okay, so that's the point here that Krishna's making. But at the same time, even though they're the same, Krishna says that Karma Yoga is better. And why is Karma Yoga better?
Feasible for all.
Because what?
It is easy to do and practical in Kali Yuga.
Okay, it's easy and practical because our nature is to be active. And why else is it better? I gave you two reasons, right? What was the other one?
We have to engage our senses in because our nature is to act. Soul's nature is to serve, that's why.
Yeah, so if we don't act, then what happens to the senses? We don't act for
Well,
Krishna.
entangled into material things.
Yeah, senses will want to be materially engaged, and then we'll end up basically falling down from spiritual life, right? So yeah, so it's easier and it's also safer. It's safer because it protects us from fall down, from falling down into material life again. Okay, good. So that's what Krishna is saying in these first few verses. No. Okay, let's read text. Someone please read text 6 and 7.
Mataji, may I?
Yes.
Chapter 5, Text 6. Merely renouncing all activities yet not engaging in the devotional service of the Lord cannot make one happy, but a thoughtful person engaged in devotional service can achieve the supreme without delay. Text number 7. One who works in devotion, who is a pure soul and who controls his mind and senses, is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled.
Okay, thank you. So here in text 6, in the third line, Krishna says, Yoga Yukto Munir Brahma. So Muni means a thoughtful person. That's how Prabhupada translates it. But a thoughtful person engaged in devotional service can achieve the supreme without delay. So Krishna is saying, do karma yoga, but be a thinker, right? Don't switch off your brain. Don't just work mindlessly, right? A lot of people in this world, they just do things mechanically or mindlessly, just go about their day, they have their daily routine, and they just do it, but they don't think of Krishna. They don't think philosophically. They don't ask, big questions about the purpose of their life, about where are these activities leading me. They just go through their to-do list, as just habit. So, yeah, Krishna's saying that do your work, but be thoughtful, be reflective, be introspective, really question yourself and your motives and your purpose, and, be a thinker, basically. So that's really important because, yeah, you could say that both of the processes, karma yoga and Sankhya yoga, are the same in theory, but not in practice. You see, because renouncing material activities without engaging in spiritual activities is difficult because it leaves us with nothing to do. And you could say, oh, well, you can study the scriptures, but how long, right? How long can you go on studying the scriptures? Probably after 2 hours, most of you are like, oh my God, and thank God that's over. Now I need to get on with, I can stand up, I can move around, I can do my things. Right, so how long are we going to sit around just, reading Bhagavad Gita? And especially when people haven't come to the realization of Krishna yet, then they're just studying, Vedanta or something and speculating about the absolute truth. So it becomes boring and dry and unhappy. And even Krishna agrees with that, right? Krishna himself agrees. And he wants Arjuna and he wants all of us to be happy and to quickly achieve our spiritual goals. So he's saying, do devotional service, be active. So, yeah, devotees are active in all different kinds of ways. They go out and interact with other kinds of people, but they don't do it for their own enjoyment, right? Most people, they get together with other people in order to enjoy themselves, right? They'll go be with family to socialize and hear all the news and hear all the latest gossip and to enjoy themselves. They'll go out with friends or they'll go to some club or some, wherever people go for enjoyment to be with people. But it's just, yeah, it's just for their own sense gratification. But devotees go to the temple to be together with devotees to get support, spiritual support, so they can chant, they can do kirtan, they can hear Srimad Bhagavatam, they can serve Krishna, they go out into the street or different places and to be with people, to talk to people, to tell them about Krishna, to, convince them to get one of Srila Prabhupada's books, So, yeah, devotees are very socially active, but it's all for Krishna. It's all motivated by compassion and a desire to expand Krishna consciousness. So this is, and because of that, because they work with compassion for all beings, they're dear to everyone. That's what Krishna is saying here in text 7, that they are dear to everyone and everyone is dear to them. Okay, questions? Daya.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, my question is like in Karma Yoga, we are already acting in Krishna consciousness, right? Our actions are in Krishna consciousness. Then at one place, Krishna is saying that the conclusion of all the Vedas is to know me, to do the devotional service. Then what type of knowledge still remain after not, like we are already in Krishna conscious, acting in Krishna conscious, then why is there necessity of more knowledge if you are already in karma yoga? Karma yoga is what Krishna consciousness is already in that. What's the need?
Yeah. So karma yoga means you're doing your, your prescribed duties, you're doing your regular work, but you're connecting it to Krishna.
Yes.
But that's not yet bhakti yoga, right? Bhakti yoga is another level up where you totally just surrender and you're just thinking about Krishna's pleasure. You're not attached. You're able to transcend your nature, your psychophysical nature, and just do anything for Krishna. So
Okay. To
we're not
level
going to
up.
surrender. Yeah, we're not going to surrender. We're not going to fully surrender to a person that we don't know, that we don't, because we need to know them so that we can need to know Krishna so we can trust him and have faith in him and understand that he is going to protect us in all circumstances. He's going to maintain us. He's going to,
We are totally relying.
what's that?
We are totally relying on Krishna. That's stage of Bhakti Yoga is
Yeah,
still far away than, from Karma Yoga. That's why we need to know more about it.
yeah,
Okay, Mataji, I
yeah.
have other question. How could we analyze or say that my action are like how many percentage my action are in Krishna consciousness and how many percentage it is not?
Well, that's up to you. I mean, you need to, that's why Krishna is saying, be a Muni, be introspective. So you need to, at the end of each day, you can sit down and go over and reflect on, all the things that you did during the day and where was your consciousness at while you were doing those things? What were you thinking about? What were you worrying about? What was your objective? What were you trying to achieve by doing that thing? And then, you can do a little self-assessment. And yeah, if everything that we did was to please Krishna, and that was our only objective, that I'm just doing this to please Krishna, I'm not doing it for any other reason, then that's pure Krishna consciousness.
Okay, thank you.
Kishori.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Kishori ji.
Mataji, my question is about chapter 5, verse 6. Mataji, Krishna is
Okay.
saying that by renouncing all devotional service, by renouncing all activities, we can't make one happy. So, Mataji, how we make others happy?
How do we make others happy? By
Yeah.
engaging them in devotional service, right? That's what Krishna is
Yes.
saying. Because the only thing that's going to make us happy is serving Krishna, because that's who we are, right? If we try to be somebody that we're not, we're going to be miserable, right? We have to be who we are, and who we all are is, like Lord Chaitanya says, Jivera Swarapahoy Krishnara Nityadas, that
Yes.
the eternal form, Swarup of the Jiva, every living entity, is Krishna or Nityadas, that we are the eternal servants of Krishna. So that's what it means to be ourselves, is to be a servant of Krishna, because that's who we are. We are nothing else. We have no other identity. So other people are suffering because they're not serving Krishna. So we just need to go out there and convince everybody, hey, you're not that body. You are a servant, you're a spirit soul, eternal servant of Krishna. And if you want to be happy, you have to serve Krishna. So just come with me to the temple and let's do some service together. Or chant this mantra, or read this book, or take this prasadam, or give a donation. Somehow or other, we need to connect people with Krishna. Okay?
Yes,
And then
Mataji.
we'll be happy. They'll be happy, and we'll be happy, and Krishna will be happy. It's a
Okay.
win-win-win. Okay. Hitika? What happened to Hitika? Did she just like jump out of the meeting? It looks like she lost her connection. Oh, Hitika! It's you have a problem with your audio. You have to unmute yourself first of all. There we go. And now see. Oh, you unmute yourself again. You have an unsteady trigger finger there on the mute button. Okay, try. Yeah.
How to be renounced, because as practically we see, we whatever we get like success, we get happy from that, like, oh, I did that much work, that's why I got it. Like, it's hard for us to think like it's all Krishna's mercy, how to have that consciousness in our mind.
Yeah, well, just think about okay, do you know anybody that lost their sense of hearing?
No.
No. So sometimes when people get old, they go deaf, right? They lose their hearing. Do you know anybody who has lost their eyesight?
Yeah, I do know.
Okay. Do you know anybody who has lost the ability to walk?
No.
No. Some people that happens, right? They get in an accident or illness or just old age, they can't walk. They end up like bedridden or in a wheelchair. Do you know anybody who lost their memory? Like they have a hard time remembering anything?
No, I haven't experienced anything like that.
So that happens to people, especially in old age, right? You lose your memory, you say one thing, and then 5 minutes later, you say the same thing because you forgot you just said it. Or somebody tells you something, 5 minutes later, you totally forgot what they told you. So, anyways, the point is that we can only do anything because Krishna is empowering our senses and our mind and our intelligence to function. Right? If one day, all of a sudden, you have a stroke, and let's say half your body becomes paralyzed, then you can't even lift your arm over your head like that. You can't even scratch your own nose with your hand. I know somebody that happened to. So we're thinking, oh yes, I'm so strong, I'm so capable, I'm doing all these things, I'm so intelligent. But at any moment, we can lose our faculties. We can lose all of our, working senses. So we're very proud thinking that, I'm doing this, but actually we can only do it because Krishna is enabling us. He's enabling our bodies. He's giving us the ability to see and hear and walk. And oh, Bhimla Prasad had it, left side paralyzed. Wow.
Yeah,
And it came
21.
back.
Yeah, brain stroke, same thing.
You had a stroke?
Yeah, I had a brain stroke.
Oh, wow. How did you get back your movements and
Yeah, like
everything?
my spiritual master said that you like barely escaped death. I said yes, Maharaj.
Oh,
21
that's
in
amazing.
2021. Yeah, I had.
Oh, that's serious. Hare
Glories
Krishna.
to the devotees. They saved me.
So the point is that the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. And sometimes we don't realize how kind Krishna is to us until we lose something, right? We take all these things for granted, just like the air, right? We don't think about the air. We don't think about the sun. But if the sun didn't rise in the morning one day, that would basically like be the end of life on the planet, right? Because plants need to grow and otherwise there's nothing to eat. And, you know, so we take all these things for granted, but actually our existence is like, there's one Vaishnava songwriter, I think Lochan Das Thakur, he says, Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Talamala. This life is tottering like a drop of water on a lotus leaf. Any little shaking and doof, it falls. So our situation here is very precarious. And at any moment we can lose our ability to do anything. And the only reason that we have that ability is because of Krishna. Right? So actually it's only by Krishna's grace that we're able to do anything. So basically Krishna is the doer. Krishna is the ultimate doer. And so he gets the credit for everything. And he also deserves to enjoy the results of everything because he did it. It's just like, yeah, Prabhupada would give this analogy that let's say you want to build a house, right? So you hire you contract a builder to come and build your house for you. So he goes and he brings all the lumber and the concrete and the steel and the windows and the doors and he puts it all together and and then you got your house. So okay, sure, you also had it. Wow. You students here have a lot of experience from young age. So you get someone to build your house, and then after he builds the house, then he invites his family, wife, children, cousins, brothers, uncles, they all move into the house. Is that right?
No.
No. Why not? He built the house. He used his strength, his knowledge, his skills, his training. He built the house, should be his house, right? Why is it not his house?
Because they are his family, we should allow them to live with them.
Yeah, because it's only the person who actually owns the land and all that, it's his house because he basically empowered the person to build the house by contracting him, right? By paying him and asking him to do it and supervising him doing it and like that. So in the same way, and all of those concrete and materials and lumber that he used to build the house, they were provided by the owner who actually paid for all those things, right? So it's the owner who actually has the right to live in the house. So we're like the builder, right? Krishna's giving us everything. He gives us a body, he gives us air, he gives us, all these resources of this material world. He gives us light, he gives us water, he gives us everything that we need to survive and do our things with. And he also gives us intelligence, he gives us a brain, he gives us, senses, knowledge acquiring senses, working, it gives us everything. And then we do something with all the things that he provided for us, and he also is maintaining us. And then we think that what we do is ours, and we can move in and bring our family and set up camp, and it's ours, and kick out the owner and forget about him. He doesn't matter, right? That's our situation. So, yeah, everything belongs to Krishna. And Prabhupada says the problem is that people, they try to take Krishna's property and enjoy it themselves. So they become thieves, right? When you take someone else's property and try to enjoy it yourself, you're a thief. And he said, how can society be happy when everybody is a thief? Because thieves are not happy. They're always in anxiety about getting caught. Okay, does that answer the question?
Yes, Mataji, got it.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead. We did 6 and 7. So we're talking about the need to be thoughtful, be introspective, compassionate, right? To be kind, control our minds and senses, and share Krishna consciousness, distribute books, distribute the holy name, and that way we become dear to everyone. Now, in the next verses, Krishna is going to give us a little glimpse into the transcendental consciousness of a person who actually acts in devotion for the Lord. Okay, someone please read 8 and 9. Just 8 and 9. Sunil.
Hare Krishna, chapter 5, verse 8 and 9. A person in divine consciousness, although engaged in seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, moving, about, sleeping, and breathing, always know within himself that he actually does nothing at all, because while speaking, evacuating, receiving, or opening or closing his eyes, he always knows that only the material senses are engaged with their objects and that he is aloof for them.
Good. Yeah, so this is a situation that a person in this divine consciousness, they know that they're not the body. So they observe the activities of the body. And, of course, the soul is in the body. So the soul is moving around with the body. But at the same time, they're aware, they're aloof from the activities of the body. They're seeing that the body is doing its own things, right? The ears are hearing, the skin is touching, the nose is smelling, mouth is eating, legs are moving, body's moving around, sleeping, breathing, all these things are going on. But the soul is doing nothing at all. So the activities of the body are not the activities of the soul. There's a difference. Yeah. Only the material senses are engaged with the objects, and the soul is actually something else. So yeah, I was just having another class this morning, and we were talking about this, how the distinction between the soul and the body. And yeah, because Krishna says, Dehi nosmin yata dehe komaram yovanam jara tata dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namuyati. That as the embodied soul continuously passes from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. So yeah, the body is always changing. Or you could say even that the body is dying, right? Like I had a baby body, like I had a body that was this big. Where's that body now? That body has died, right? And now soul's in another. Then I had a body that was, young, youthful, and full of energy, very optimistic about the world, and thinking, oh, I'm going to change the world, have a whole life in front of me, and all these hopes and dreams that came with that subtle body that was in that youthful body. And yeah, where is that body now? That body is gone, long gone, right? Now I have this middle-aged body. So yeah. And then, yeah, I was thinking about also, so I have 2 children. I have 2 grown-up children now. And I was remembering the time of my pregnancies. So during pregnancy, any of you out there who are mothers, you know that a lot of things start happening in the body. Body starts just like switching on new systems, and everything just starts, hormones become activated, and a lot of changes within the body. The body is basically like creating organs that weren't there before, and developing somebody else's organs that weren't there before, and it's just like actually insane. It's like really incomprehensible what's going on in the body. And while I was in my body observing, at least from outside, changes in the body, and feeling them to some extent, just marveling over how this body is just totally different from me. I have no say over what's going on with my body right now. You know, like just I'm in here and it's just doing its thing. I'm doing my thing, and I'm living my spiritual life, and my body is doing its own thing according to its own mechanics of action, uh, guided by Paramatma. And it has nothing to do with me. This body literally has nothing to do with me right now. It's just doing its own thing. So there's a sense in which I'm not this body, right? We eat food, that it's all happening, digestion is happening, has nothing to do with our thought process or our will or anything, right? So, yeah, a person with actual spiritual consciousness sees it this way, doesn't identify with the body. At the same time, doesn't neglect the body. Like we're hearing about how the body is like a machine and it's our vehicle. So after all, it is the vehicle. It does serve the soul, right? It's the instrument. It's the soul's instrument for action in this world. So even though I'm not the body, and even though the body does a lot of things that I don't have any control over, but to the extent that I can control this body, I try to use it in Krishna's service. And for the sake of serving Krishna, I keep the body optimally fit and healthy so that I can be strong and energetic and have all my faculties intact to serve Krishna. So, yeah. But also we're conscious that I'll have to leave this body sooner or later. I'm going to have to say goodbye. Just like I said goodbye to my baby body. I said goodbye to my child body. I'm going to say goodbye to, multiple iterations of this body throughout this lifetime, and ultimately at the end just like say goodbye to my old body too. So don't get too attached to the body. All right, please read text 10 and 11.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Text number 10. One who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the result unto the Supreme Lord, is unaffected by the sinful actions as the lotus leaf is untouched by water. Text number 11. The yogis abandoning attachment act with body, mind, intelligence, and even with the senses only for the purpose of the purification.
Okay, good. So this is important because, we're just hearing about how we're not these bodies. In one sense, we have nothing to do with these material bodies. Material body doesn't affect the soul. So then someone could say, well, if physical activities have nothing to do with the soul, then what's the point of doing any physical activities at all? Right? So Krishna is saying that, yeah, there is a purpose for doing physical activities, for acting with this body, and the purpose is purification. So we have to purify our consciousness by performing activities, purificatory activities. And Prabhupada would say it's like using a thorn to take out a thorn. So this body itself is like a thorn. Thorn is a problem, right? You get a thorn in your foot, it's a big problem. But then you can get another thorn and use it like a needle and poke it under your skin and pry that thorn out. Like if it goes under your skin and breaks off inside there, you need to get another thorn and dig it out. So this body is a thorn because it's a problem and it gives us a lot of pain and we're stuck with it like that. Like the thorn is stuck in your foot. So the soul is stuck in this body. We're stuck in a body, but we can actually use this same body to purify our bodily existence, to purify our embodied state. So that's what we need to do. Right now, our senses are contaminated and they drag us towards, sense gratification and cause us to be more and more entangled. But we can use the same senses in devotional service, and then that purifies us of our material attachments and desires and karma and misconceptions about ourselves and the purpose of life and everything. So, yeah, we need to use the body. Actually, it's not just that we should use the body, but we actually need to use this body in order to purify the whole thing. Yes, Sundar Kumar.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I don't know my question is related to this or not, but when I read it, like question arised in my mind. Like sometimes we try to help someone or like we do something, but 1 minute.
What happened? You just muted yourself. Oh, someone's being loud there.
Yeah, so I'm continuing. Sometimes we try to help someone or we try to do something good for others, but in turn, like they suffer. Like they think that's a bad for them, or they like uh, indirectly something bad happens with them. Even we try to help them, but we can't. 1 minute. I'm really sorry. Okay, so my question is that sometimes we try to help someone or do something good for others, but like it happens in inverse, they face something bad.
Mhm.
Even so, anxiety arises like maybe we have done with them like even we tried best for them, but is it that we are attached with them or we will suffer or we will have a karma for that? Did you get my point?
So you're saying that we try to help someone, but it ends up kind of backfiring and it ends up causing more trouble for them?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, well, yeah. If our intention is to help, then I mean, we have to have good intentions, but we also have to have good intelligence, right? So we have to want to help, but we also need to know like what does it actually mean to help someone? Like what actually will help? And and I mean, the good thing is that one name for Krishna is Bhava Grahi Janardana, which means that he accepts our bhava, our mood, right? So if we do something, if our mood is to please Krishna, if our mood is, a nice devotional service mood, then even if our service is a failure, or even if it, ends up being a disaster, right? Like let's say you try to uh, cook something. You're cooking some preparation, and you're doing it with love and devotion for Krishna. You're doing it to please Krishna. You're doing because you want to, distribute prasadam to people or, please the devotees. But then it ends up just like being really bad. Instead of sugar, you put salt or something like that, and it just tastes horrible. No one can eat it. You have to throw it in the garbage, right? Even the cows, even the dogs in the street won't eat it. So, what to do? Anyways, but Krishna accepts that you tried to do something with love, even though, it ended up just being disgusting. So hopefully, when we try to help others too, if we do it in a good state of mind, with a sincere desire to help them, that Krishna will accept our intention. But yeah, as far as possible, we have to know like how to actually help the person. Right? Sometimes we'll just do something like thinking, oh, I'll do this because it'll be good for the person. But we don't know the person well enough to know actually what they need. So we need to find out. We need to find out. Like Prabhupada said that if the spiritual master asks for water and then you bring milk, then thinking that it's better than water, and then the spiritual master is not pleased because he didn't want milk, he wanted water, and that's why he asked for water, right? So sometimes we speculate about how we think someone should be served or someone can be helped, but we should actually like find out what does the person actually need, what is going to help them, and do that. Does that make sense?
I would like to add something in your example, like I'm bringing water for some devotees. So somewhere my hand moves on and the water around him or her upon him.
You spill the water
So
on them.
what's the outcome of that?
Uh, outcome is that you need to be more careful how you walk. Look where you're going when you bring the water. Yeah, and go running and get
Yeah.
some, paper towel or something to dry the person off with. Yeah, sometimes things like that happen. What to do? We can only do our best, right? And sometimes Krishna wants to, sometimes Krishna's plan may just be to humble you by making a fool out of you. So we have to also accept that. Okay. All right. Another question. Simal.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, my question is same as Prabhuji asked. If we are helping someone and our intention are pure, like we want them to become a Krishna conscious person, and they accept our offer and they are chanting and they are doing prayers, but at the same time they did something materialistically which harm us, which cause us pain. So what should we do in that situation? Should we leave them, or like should we help them in Krishna consciousness? Like I don't understand what Krishna want us to do.
Yeah. Well, when we're preaching, we have to be tolerant, because people are very ignorant and they're also under the influence of the modes of passion and ignorance. So when we try to give them Krishna consciousness, sometimes they might be offensive or rude. Sometimes even if they show an interest in Krishna consciousness, they may be interested for the wrong reasons, right? They're trying to get some material benefit, or they're trying to enjoy your association in a wrong way or something like that. So we need to be tolerant to an extent and just be like, all right, Krishna, this is not comfortable, but I really want to help this person in Krishna consciousness. And so I'm going to do the austerity of, listening to this person speak a lot of materialistic nonsense just for the sake of bringing them to Krishna consciousness. Sometimes you're talking to some person, they're not at all a devotee, but you're trying to sell them a book or you're trying to engage them in service. But because all they're used to talking about is materialistic things, like then they come to the temple. So you invite them to the temple to help, roll chapatis or something like that for a Sunday feast. So they come and you're there next to them, you're both rolling chapatis together, and they're just speaking about a lot of materialistic things because that's all they know how to speak about. So you just have to be tolerant, be like, yes, yes, very good. And try to bring it around to Krishna consciousness. Okay, so some tolerance has to be there, patience and tolerance. And in time, they'll be able to, they'll lose their attachment to those material subject matters and they'll want to talk more about Krishna and hear more about Krishna. But if it comes to the point where, the person is, being very offensive, or the person is making you very, very uncomfortable, like they're going past your boundaries, right? Like, let's say the person is a member of the opposite sex and you gave them a book and then you met them at the temple, but now they're trying to go a little bit too far in their relationship with you, and they're flirting with you and things like that, saying inappropriate things, then you have to draw the line. Then you have to just be like, okay, I'm happy that you're coming to the temple. Let me introduce you to, such and such Prabhu who can, guide you further now. And then, if you're a female devotee, you pass that male person on to a male devotee who can guide them, and you just, bow out of the situation, or vice versa. So sometimes that has to be done. But we can tolerate a little bit up to the point, but we also have to have clear boundaries. And when people cross our boundaries, then we have to, take some action to protect ourselves. Ishwar?
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Damna Pranam. Mataji, I have a question. In our side areas, people's believe in social services, then believing in God. They always do good karmas and they believe in social service, then religion. They don't follow religion, they follow services. What happens with them?
So by doing, charity and welfare work, they get good karma.
Yes.
That good karma will lead them to, material prosperity. It might even lead them to elevation to heavenly planets in the next life, but it's not going to get them out of the material world, right? The only way to get out of the cycle of repeated birth and death in this material world is to act for Krishna, to act directly for God.
So how to inspire them? They don't believe in those things. They said we are doing our karma, you do your bhakti, your seva, and we don't care.
Yeah, I mean, if you can just try, but what you can do is, sometimes, some of the activities that we do, like, for example, Food for Life, are attractive to those kinds of people. So they don't want to directly serve Krishna, but they're happy to, feed homeless people or distribute food to the poor. So then you invite them to help, go out with the Food for Life van and distribute, plates of prasadam to poor people. So a lot of people will do that. Yeah. And then gradually, they'll get purified because they're in touch with Krishna. They're serving next to devotees. They're handling prasadam, which is Krishna's mercy in the form of food. So they're getting gradually purified. But even if they don't do that, just by doing their mundane welfare work, they may gradually, it might take several lifetimes, but they will gradually come to Krishna consciousness because they'll develop detachment. Because when you volunteer your time or you give your money in charity, then you develop detachment. And then that detachment accumulates until you come to the point where you become, detached from the material world altogether and you start looking for something else, which is spiritual life. Okay. Kishori? Where's Kishori? Maybe she's okay. Sunita, you're muted. Please unmute yourself.
Radhe Krishna, I have question. We perform the karma in our daily life. So sometimes we think we are doing the good karma, but turn out be the wrong. So how we can identify that we are doing good karma or bad?
You try to do good karma, but you find out that what? That it's wrong? I didn't get that word. That's what you said. So how can we be sure we're doing good karma and not just speculating about it? Well, I mean, the thing is that as devotees, we don't even want to do good karma. We just don't want to deal with karma at all. Good karma, bad karma, we just don't want to do karma at all. We want to do bhakti. So, and good karma, there's some actions that are given in the scriptures as good karma, right? Like, yeah, like giving food and clothes to the poor, planting trees, building hospitals, digging wells, things like that. That basically things that are providing necessities of life for people who don't have them. Right? Anything in that direction is good karma. So people need drinking water, you dig a well. People need medical care, you build a hospital or donate towards some, medical charity, something like that. So that's all good karma. But good karma is also bad because we have to take birth again in the material world to get the results of our good karma. So the best thing to do is devotional service because it's karma free. Okay. And then we can know what to do by Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. We have a spiritual master, we associate with devotees, they engage us in devotional service, and that's the best thing. So if you're not sure, just consult devotees, right? You should have mentors in your life, spiritual mentors in your life that you can go to and ask, is this a good thing to do? But basically anything is good if it's connected to Krishna. You know, if you can do it for Krishna, that's a good thing. And if the thing is not connected to Krishna, even if it appears to be good, then it's not great because it's going to lead to material bondage. So that's what Krishna is saying throughout the Bhagavad Gita, is that we need to, that's what yoga means, right? So whether it's Sankhya yoga or Karma yoga or Buddha yoga or Bhakti yoga, there has to be yoga, there has to be connection to Krishna, and then it becomes purifying, it becomes elevating, it becomes liberating. And anything without yoga, if it's just karma or just jnana or just buddhi, then it's just mundane and it's going to keep us in the material world for better or for worse. And Prabhupada would say that, you know, good karma, bad karma, it's like in the material world, everyone is in prison. We're all in this jail. Material world is like a jail. So there are class A prisoners, class B prisoners, and class C prisoners. So the class C prisoner is the worst. Maybe they're a very bad criminal, so they get in like solitary confinement. They're like chained, their ankle is chained to the concrete floor. They can't move. They can't talk to anyone. They can't do anything. They're just stuck there for years. And then class A prisoner is in prison, but they have a little more freedom, right? Maybe they get some recreation time where they can go to a room and they can, you know, play games. They can go outside and work in the garden or something. You know, they get some fresh air, sunlight. They can talk to people sometimes. But still they're in the prison. They don't have freedom. They can only go there when the prison guard says go there. And even when they go outside, they are under supervision. They have to wear this bright orange uniform, you know, so like that. So the point is not to go from class C prisoner with bad karma to class A prisoner with good karma. The point is to get out of the prison and be a free person. Right? So we have to get out of this material world and be a free soul in the spiritual world to serve Krishna without being limited by this body and material circumstances of this world.
So means Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Yep.
So means Mataji, we have to do, we should not do bad karmas also. We should not do good karmas because good karmas is like also sugar coated karmas. Devotee should do a karma. Exactly. What are you saying?
Exactly. Yeah, we should do akarma. So akarma means action for Krishna.
Action for Krishna, desiring things for Krishna.
Yeah, so we learned that in the last chapter, right? The difference between action and inaction, and inaction and action. So, yeah, inaction, akarma, means doing everything for Krishna. Then we get free from karma. Okay. Are you happy, Sunita?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you. Dhanyavad.
Okay. All right, Kishore, do you have a question? Or are you waving at us?
Yes, Mataji, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Did Mataji in chapter 5 only verse 3? That Mataji, one who neither hates nor desires the fruit of your activity is known to be always renounced. So Mataji, it is enough to become a sannyasi?
You're going to take sannyas, Kishore?
No.
So what Krishna is saying is that, yeah, he says Gaya sa nitya sannyasi. He says the real sannyasi, the person who is always a sannyasi, is the person who is not attached to the fruits of their activities. right? But they offer all the results of their activities to Krishna. So that's the way that even a 12-year-old girl can be a sannyasi. Everything that you do, you offer to Krishna. And then you are the Nitya sannyasi, according to Krishna. Okay?
Yes, Mataji.
All right. Okay. Anything else? So Krishna says here in text 10 that when we act like this, right, we do our duties, but without attachment, giving all the results to Krishna, then we become unaffected by karma, and we are like a lotus leaf untouched by water. So yeah, there's a teaching of in Christianity, Jesus Christ says that we should be in the world, but not of the world. So that's what this verse is saying. So the lotus leaf is, the lotus plant grows in the water. So here's water, its roots are under, it's growing up, but the lotus flower is above the surface of the water. The lotus leaf is also not touching the water. So it's in the middle of the water, the middle of the pond, and then, what do you call it? Pukur. It's in the middle there of the pond, but is not touching the pond. So that's, Krishna's teaching us how to live like the lotus flower, that we're in the middle of this material world, but we're not touched by the material energy. We're not touched by material karma. We're not influenced by the modes of material nature. We're above it, transcendental to it. And we do that by working in this world without attachment. So even though we're doing so many things, and it looks like some of those things maybe they appear to be like ordinary material activities, right? Like cooking. Everybody is cooking. But one person is getting karma for cooking, and another person is not getting any karma for cooking because they're offering it, the food, to Krishna. So like that, we can be in the world, but untouched by the material energy, by doing everything for Krishna. Okay, let's go on. So now Krishna is going to contrast this really beautiful transcendental situation of the devotee with that of the ordinary materialist. Yeah, so let's read 12 and 13.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah. Oh, Gitika, you have a question?
Chapter 5. No,
Oh, go
Mataji,
ahead
I
then.
want to read.
Please read then.
Yeah. Chapter 5, text 12. The steady devoted soul attains unadulterated peace because of all activities to me, whereas a person who is not in union with the divine, who is greedy for the fruits of his labor, becomes entangled. Text 13. When the embodied living beings control his nature and mentally renounces all actions, he resides happily in the city of nine gates, the material body, neither working nor causing work to be done.
Okay. Yeah, so here in text 13, Krishna uses this metaphor of the city of nine gates. So city of nine gates is the body. Body, we have 9 openings to the body, 9 entrances to the body. So we have 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, mouth, anus, and genitals. So he's saying that the soul can live perfectly happy within this city of the body by renouncing all activities aimed at sense enjoyment and instead acting for the pleasure of the Lord. But, he says, however, if the soul is influenced by false ego, in other words, false ego means thinking I am this body, identifying with the body, and then acts for sense gratification, thinking that, well, if I'm the body, then I am my senses, and if my senses are happy, I'll be happy. And then just tries to, fulfill the demands of the senses, then the result is going to be suffering and, of course, bondage. So if we want to actually happy life and peaceful life, then we need to do everything for Krishna. So we can try to think like that whatever, get in the habit of thinking, how is what I'm doing right now related to Krishna? So as soon as you're about to do something, how is this related to Krishna? How is this pleasing to Krishna? Or how can I make this pleasing to Krishna? Or how can I connect this to Krishna? How can I do this in Krishna consciousness? And if we can't figure out how to connect some particular activity to Krishna, but we have to do that activity, then we need to consult a senior devotee, a more experienced person, and ask them, how can I do this in Krishna consciousness? How can I offer this work to Krishna? And if senior devotees still can't find a way to offer that thing to Krishna, then you may need to change what you're doing so that you're doing something that can be offered to Krishna, that can be connected. Because if we do things without Krishna consciousness, that's what he says in 12, right? A person who is not in union with the divine, who is greedy for the fruits of labor, becomes entangled. So this is a contrast between the devotee who lives like the lotus flowers in the world, but not influenced by the world, is very different from the person who is basically drowning in the water, is getting, just pushed here by the waves of the modes of nature, is getting entangled in the stems of the lotus. So one is the lotus flower, nice there, basking in the sunshine, not getting wet. And then the other one is in the water, getting all tangled up in the stems of the lotus, getting bit by the fish there under the water, and getting stuck in the mud of that murky pond, that becoming greedy for the fruits of labor. So yeah, the thing is that we bring these consequences on ourselves. We can make the choice. Prabhupada writes in the purport to text 12, the difference between a person in Krishna consciousness and a person in bodily consciousness is that the former is attached to Krishna, whereas the latter is attached to the results of his activities. And Prabhupada makes it very, very clear. So we can also, whenever we're doing something, we can ask ourselves, am I doing this because I'm attached to Krishna? Or am I doing this because I'm attached to the results of the activity? And yeah, the person who's attached to Krishna and works only for Krishna is liberated and has no anxiety over the results of work. Whereas the person who's attached to the results of the work is in complete anxiety over the results of work. The whole thing is depending on the success or failure of the work. Whereas for the devotee's like, okay, I'm going to do this work for you, Krishna, and I leave the results up to you. You can make me a success or failure as you like. Right? Like when Srila Prabhupada arrived in the US, he wrote that beautiful prayer, right? Markine Bhagavat Dharma. He said that I have total faith in you, I have faith in the holy name, faith in Srimad Bhagavatam, and I just want to be your instrument. I'm just like a puppet in your hands. And if you like, you can make me dance, make me dance, make me dance as you like. Right? So that's a nice way to live. If you want me to be a success or failure, that's up to you. You're completely free to do whatever you want with me. I'm just your servant. And I'm ready to serve in whatever capacity and whatever that may bring me, that's up to you. So that way we stay always peaceful and happy and transcendental. Okay, I see we have some questions there. Raki?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. I want to ask that it is like very difficult to be very conscious all the day, like if whatever I'm doing is doing for Krishna. So it seems difficult because being a mother, being a daughter-in-law, being a wife, it is difficult. We have some expectations if I'm doing my duty without selfishness, or if I'm like giving an example of that, if I'm making something for my children, definitely I will expect some love from them, or I will expect some praise from them. So it is like it's difficult to be all time in Krishna consciousness. Like whatever I'm doing for the Krishna. Like there I'm used to I used to watch TV, some dramas and some movies. If I'm stopping that, uh, okay, I won't see. So definitely my husband will say, what happened to you? You are not watching movie with me. You are not with me. You are just saying everything about Krishna consciousness. This is not good. This is not good. And everything is just difficult in daily life in this material world.
Yeah. You just do what you can, you know. If you have to sit there and watch a movie, then at least try to connect some themes from the movie to Krishna consciousness. Right? In the movie, someone is going to be suffering some difficulty. So you're like, yeah, this is the nature of the material world. It's difficult. Right? You see that somebody falls in love with some other person, then after it causes a whole drama, that this is the nature of these male-female relationships in this world. They're so entangling and problematic. You know, you can just relate them to something from Srimad Bhagavatam.
That's most of the time I say that this is not
Hold on, we can't hear
this
you.
is fake. So my husband said,
What's that?
it's unmute. Yes, I'm saying that most of the time I say this is not the true love. True love is only for the Bhagwan, for the Krishna. So every time my children says, Mama, what happened to you? Or every time you are saying, just don't.
Well, you don't have to say it out loud. You just think it.
Like this happens.
Your voice is breaking up a lot. Anyways, yeah, the thing is that you don't have to say it. You just think it in your own mind. You think, yeah, this is the nature of the world. This is, you know, people think it's love, but it's actually just lust. Everyone's just trying to enjoy each other. You know, but don't tell that to your children and don't say that to your husband. You just think it in your own mind. Let them enjoy the movie. Unless, you know, if they're interested in your commentary, then okay. But if they're not, then don't spoil it for them, you know. Otherwise, they're just going to think you're, you know, ISKCON fanatic.
Yes, Mataji, but it is difficult in your own mind also that you cannot stay all the time on the Krishna consciousness, focusedly on the Krishna consciousness. It seems difficult. If whatever I'm doing, that we are reading in the Bhagavad Gita, whatever the senses, the eyes, the legs, the hands, the mouth, all the sense, the ears. So it is difficult to be in Krishna consciousness or the focus on the Krishna all the time.
You know the advice that Lord Chaitanya gave to Raghunath Das Goswami. So Raghunath Das Goswami, he was there with his family, and he was so entangled there with the family, his mother and father. They wouldn't let him go, and you know, he kept trying to run away. And then Lord Chaitanya said, you know, stop being so crazy, you know, stop being so fanatical. You have to be like, and then he gave him a hint. He said that when a wife has a paramour, then she does her home duties, her duties in the house very, very carefully, even very meticulously, you know, so that her husband doesn't suspect that she has a lover outside, you know, somewhere. But then, you know, when he's not looking, then she goes to meet the lover. So he said, of course, we're not advising that, but he says that Krishna is like your paramour. So your heart is with Krishna, but you're doing your duties for, you know, as a wife, as a mother, as a daughter-in-law, you're doing all of those duties very nicely, very carefully and meticulously, so that no one will criticize you for being a devotee of Krishna. But in your heart, you're always thinking of Krishna and wanting to please Krishna and connecting everything to Krishna, doing everything as an offering to Krishna, like that. You keep that inside. And that's actually what chapter 5 is all about, right? Chapter 5 is all about, as I was saying, it's internal cultivation of Krishna consciousness. That Krishna consciousness is it's about consciousness. And of course, engaging our senses in the activities of devotional service, speaking always of Krishna, hearing always of Krishna, those things help to cultivate our consciousness. But the main thing is the consciousness. So when you come to a mature level of Krishna consciousness, then even if you're engaged in so-called, apparently materialistic activities, you can still be just as Krishna conscious. So that's, it's about your inner cultivation. So while you're cooking or doing household things or, carrying out the orders of your husband or your mother-in-law or whatever, it's like you just be Krishna conscious. You just remember Krishna within your own heart. And you don't need to say, if people will become disturbed, you don't need to, express it outside to anyone. You just keep it within your heart. You just cherish that Krishna consciousness. Just like the woman with the paramour, she's doing her duty. She's like, washing her husband's clothes and ironing his shirts nicely and folding his socks and cleaning his room and making his bed, but she's thinking of the paramour. So like that, mind should go to Krishna. Mind always absorbed in Krishna, the body is doing its thing. And that's what we're talking about, that the body is, the senses are engaging with the objects, but the soul is aloof. The soul is aloof from the bodily activities. So we're doing our duties in this material world, but we're aloof from those things. And our real focus is on Krishna. Okay. All right, who do we have? Sunil.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, as you gave the example, like many of the women, they cook in their home, so it's like a duty, just an activity. But if they cook for the Krishna, it's become the karma and Krishna consciousness. So, Mataji, my question is that there are some prescribed duties sanctioned from the Krishna, like we men, we think that we are earning we are doing work to fulfill the desires of our family, our wife or children. So how we shift that mentality from that material thing to the Krishna consciousness? Because whenever we go outside for whenever we go for the work, we think that we have to fulfill the dreams or desires of our family. So we I
Oops, you got frozen. Sunil got frozen. There he goes. You got a little frozen there, but I think I got the question, right? You're saying that you go out to work and you're earning money and you're thinking this, you're meditating on, I'm doing this, earning money to provide for my family. So how to shift that to Krishna? Well, we can remember that who is your wife? Who are your children? They're souls, right? They're also parts and parcels of Krishna. They're also Krishna's eternal servants. And so you're taking care of Krishna's eternal servants. You're taking care of parts and parcels of Krishna. And you're buying food that will be cooked. And then if you can offer that to Krishna, then you're distributing Krishna prasadam. If somehow you can engage your family in activities of Krishna consciousness, then, the house becomes a temple. So it's the same thing, just like, the temple brahmacharis are going out and they're doing book distribution, collecting donations, they're doing fundraising, and they're bringing the money to the temple. What's the money being used for? For paying the bills, right? For water bill and electricity and, gas and boga and for the devotees. So if your family are devotees, then it's the same thing, right? You're doing Vaishnav Seva. So just try to share Krishna consciousness with your family as much as you can, engage them in service. And even if they're not practicing as devotees, but still everyone is ultimately a devotee. That's who we are. Some are covered devotees. They don't know that they're devotees. And some are uncovered devotees. They realize that they're devotees, but everyone is a devotee. Just a matter of time. So, yeah, but also you can, if the family is making too many demands and wanting a lot of sense gratification, you can be like, you can teach, try to speak about the glories of simple living and high thinking and living a healthy life, not becoming overly indulgent, overly entangled, trying to use things for Krishna, like that. Okay.
Okay, Mataji, actually, I have another question, but it's not from that topic. But if you allow me, then I should ask from you.
Well, let's take I think I'll take Nimerta, you have a question? If it's on topic, we'll take the on topic ones first, then we'll come back to you, Sunil, okay?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, I
Hare
wanted
Krishna.
to ask that how Indra Dev is considered as a good devotee, despite he does everything, every single activity that is restricted in our devotional service. Then how he is considered as a good devotee?
Yeah, the demigods are very interesting. So the reason that they're devotees is because they consider themselves servants of Krishna, even though they have material desires. But whenever they're in trouble, who do they go to? Krishna. Right? Whenever they're worshiping someone, who do they worship? Krishna or Lord Vishnu. So because they take that's the main quality of a devotee is Krishna Eka Sharanam, which means they only take shelter of Krishna. So that's the quality of the demigods and ultimately they're serving Krishna, right? That they're playing important roles in the administration of the universe on behalf of Krishna. So Indra provides rain, and Krishna needs someone to do that service. Right? That's a necessary, essential service, and Indra is doing that service for Krishna, helping Lord Vishnu maintain the universe by providing rain at the proper time and proper way, not too little, not too much, so that food can grow and people can live and they can do their sacrifices and all make gradual advancement like that. So he is doing a very important service for Krishna, and he always takes shelter of Krishna, and he prays to Krishna. But sometimes he makes mistakes, and sometimes he gets a little too materially, he gets kind of bewildered by Maya, right? So he's a devotee. That's what we do, right? We take shelter of Krishna, we do important services for Krishna, but sometimes we get bewildered. Sometimes our material desires, we get overwhelmed by our material desires, and sometimes we do stupid things, make mistakes, get in trouble. Then we have to go to the Lord and apologize and beg his forgiveness, go to devotees, apologize, beg forgiveness. That's what it means to be a devotee in the material world. So Indra's just being a devotee in the material world. Also, the standards of behavior are different in the heavenly planets than they are on Earth planets. On Earth, the rules are a little more stringent. So, in the heavenly planets, they're allowed to drink somarasa, which is like an intoxicating beverage, and they enjoy themselves, men and women, like that. So the rules are a little more lax there. So we can't compare ourselves to Indra, but we can also see, how Indra is very much like any devotee in the material world, in that he's trying to serve Krishna, taking shelter of Krishna, and sometimes making mistakes. But always, after making a mistake, he always feels bad and he goes to Krishna and asks forgiveness. And then for a while he's good. Right? He becomes humble. But then his pride rises up again, and then he again does something stupid. And then again, he falls down. And then again, he has to go crying to Krishna again. So, like that. Okay.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Mehak Mulani.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
I have a question. As you said, we should always think about Krishna. But when we are doing unwanted things or cooking onion garlic food like that, these activities, so how we can think about Krishna?
While cooking and things like that?
Cooking like onion garlic food or like these other types of activities.
Yeah. I mean, just remember that Krishna is the source of everything. All this bhoga that I'm preparing has come from the Lord, right? It's Krishna's gift that he's providing us with food on this planet and different varieties of food. He's also, yeah, in the, when you get to, I think it's chapter 7, I think it's chapter 7 of the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says that, or it might be 10, I think it's 7. Anyways, one of those upcoming chapters you'll get to. Krishna says that I am the sun that provides heat and light. So without the sun, these vegetables wouldn't grow. Then he also says, I'm also the moon, which gives the juice of life to all vegetables. So the juice, the flavor of every vegetable has a different flavor, every fruit has a different flavor, every herb has a different flavor. So that flavor comes from the moon, which is Krishna, a representation of Krishna in this world. And then he also says that I am the heat of fire. So you're cooking on the fire, right? Either gas fire or wood fire or cow dung fire or electric burner, but all that, those are just different manifestations of fire. And Krishna says, I'm the heat of fire. So without Krishna, we wouldn't be able to cook. So first of all, we wouldn't have food. We wouldn't have bhoga, food even to prepare. Second, without Krishna, we wouldn't have the fire to cook it on. And then he also says, I enter into the body of all living beings, and I also become the fire of digestion, which enables them to digest and assimilate food. So then after, while we're eating food, digestion, getting energy and nourishment from the food, that's only possible by Krishna. Krishna's there, literally there in our stomachs, in the form of the fire of digestion. And without him, we wouldn't be able to, we could put food in our mouth and swallow, but we wouldn't be able to get the nourishment because we wouldn't be able to digest. We would just get stomach pain and get sick. So in all these different ways, Krishna is there and he's making everything possible. So from beginning to end, from the very start of going to the market and buying your vegetables to, eating it and digesting food, Krishna is there every step of the way. So we just need to meditate on all these ways that Krishna is actually very present. And he's facilitating all of our necessities of life.
Hare Krishna Mataji, because of network issue, I can't hear your answer. Can you repeat this?
Oh. Did the rest of you hear? No one was able to hear that?
Yes, Mataji, we have heard it.
You
Actually,
heard. Okay.
many devotees are facing problem of internet today. In many areas in Pakistan, and also they're like power. So, but yeah, because since it's being recorded, they can always have a second look. Yeah, so nothing is lost in that sense.
Okay, so just try to go back and hear the recording because Sunil had another question and the time is getting short. Go ahead, Sunil.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So my question was that like we are some of our relatives, like they say you are in Krishna consciousness, so why don't you perform thing like that? Like they try to say that we have to fulfill their sayings, like the demands which are not accurate, correct. Like you are into Krishna consciousness, why do not you don't follow us? And say they demand something like which is not good, or which is not we are not able to do that. So they usually think, yeah, and they say that you are in Krishna consciousness, you have to you have to do everything your elders say. So Mataji, my question is that if our elders or if our relatives demand something wrong, so we have to follow up them or not?
No, you don't have to follow them. Right? You have to live according to your principles. It's just like Arjuna, we were seeing in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna was feeling bad because he had to fight against his teacher, Dronacharya, against his grandfather, Bhishma Dev, and he's thinking, these are my elders. I shouldn't be raising even a verbal argument against them. What to speak of arrows, shooting them with arrows. This is just so wrong. And then the purport Prabhupada says that any teacher or elder who has lost their sense of discrimination and is not able to understand what is right and what is wrong and is doing the wrong thing, then that person can be abandoned. Their instructions don't need to be followed. So that's very instructive for us too, right? That sometimes, we have a girl here. She's a young girl from, a second, I tried to my computer. She's a young girl from Nepal. So, and she came to the US and she's at university here and she comes to the temple. She's a very nice devotee. She's chanting 16 rounds and she's always coming whenever she can to be at the temple and to do services. So her mother calls her and her mother, she has to when she comes to temple, she's wearing a sari, tilak and everything. When she talks to her mother, she has to take off the sari, just put on Western clothes, wash off the tilak. And then if her mother finds out that she's going to the temple, she gets very angry. She tells her, what are you doing? You shouldn't be going to that temple. You should be just going to parties. You shouldn't be wearing sari. You should be wearing just wear mini skirts and tops and, go out and, you can go to these parties and just be like the Americans and drink and whatever, to fit in with everyone and have a good time. You're young, you should enjoy your life. The mother is telling her that. I was just like, what? Anyways, I would have never expected that, from that part of the world, India, Nepal, Pakistan. In my mind, parents are very pious and traditional and, want to protect their daughters, especially from being degraded. Anyways, yeah, she's like, you should be having a boyfriend, all these things. So, anyways, the girl's intelligent, so she's just like, yes, Mata, yes, yes. But then she doesn't go to parties. She doesn't have a boyfriend. She doesn't drink. She comes to the temple, but she just has to keep it under wraps. So yeah, Srila Prabhupada says that sometimes, elders should be giving us good advice. They're supposed to be wise. They're supposed to be, knowing religious principles. But in Kali Yuga, the situation is so degraded that sometimes those who should be guiding us are misguiding us. But if we have proper knowledge and we have, advice from people who actually know Dharma and are directing us, then we should not follow adharma. That's all. We have to know what is right and do what's right. So we can respect them in other ways, like you can still respect your elders. You can go and speak sweet words to them. You can give them gifts. You can share prasadam. You can, be kind to them. You can take care of them when they need physical care. You can financially support them, whatever you need to do to show your love and care, but you don't have to do what they say if they're telling you to do the wrong thing. And that's that. And if you stick to your principles, after some time, they'll actually respect you. And they may also adopt your principles. Sometimes that happens.
Mataji, sometime it happens that our some of our relatives comes in the house as guests, and they says go market and bring fish for us, and I get angry that I won't do that, and then they say you are in Krishna conscious, you have to follow up your elders, what they say, what they instruct. So I get angry, and they why when they include Krishna, that you are Krishna conscious, so you follow up. How could I follow if they are instructing me wrong?
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. No, just tell them that in Krishna consciousness, I follow Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So when the elders are acting according to Shastra, then I will follow them. But if the elders are acting according or going against Dharma, then what can I do? You know, I'm not going to go to hell by following elders. But you don't have to get angry also. You know, if they bring fish, you just say, I'm sorry, I'm a vegetarian, I don't eat fish. Boss, you don't have to get into it. Don't get emotional about it. You just say, this are my values, this is what I do, this is what I don't do. You know, if you actually love me, you're not going to try to force me to do something sinful, which is against my principles. Right? But that's not actual love, you know, they're just being manipulative. So don't indulge manipulative behavior. They're not obligated that way. Yeah, you just have to stand your ground. Be strong, stand your ground. Armed with yoga, stand and fight. Of course, don't fight with them, but you know, just you need to just stick to your principles and draw the line. Tell them they can just take their fish and pack it up, and when they go home, they can take it with them. Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam that Bimala Prasad's probably going to share with you that says that when you take to Krishna consciousness, you fully devote yourself to Krishna consciousness, then all of your debts are paid, right? Because we may feel like I need to do what my elders are saying because I'm indebted to them because they, you know, they took care of me when I was a helpless infant. They fed me, they provided everything for me. And so now I'm indebted to them. I need to do what they want me to do. But that verse says that when you come to Krishna consciousness, all your debts are paid. You're no longer a debtor to anyone, not your ancestors, not society, not the demigods, not you know, animals like cows and bulls that provide food for us. There we go. 11,541. Yeah. So all debts are paid. Because the thing is that they also benefit. You know, our family members benefit by us sticking to our principles and being Krishna conscious. You know, yesterday I think I was mentioning how Prahlad Maharaj was asking Lord Nrsingadev, please, my one request is that you give liberation to my poor father. And then Nrsingadev says, oh, Prahlad, your father is already liberated along with, you know, 7 or 21 or whatever, 14 different things in different places, along with so many generations of your family. So if you just become a very strong devotee, very fixed up in the regulative principles that Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, has given us, and you know, devote your life to Krishna, become a pure devotee, then all of those elders are going to get liberated too. They're all going to be spiritually benefited. So you can think that you're in your mind, you don't need to tell them that, but you can say that in your mind, you can be very resolved and determined that I'm doing this for them. Right? They don't understand. They don't understand it, but I'm not eating fish. I'm chanting Hare Krishna. I'm following regular principles, doing my devotional service, uh, not only for my benefit, but also for their benefit. And this is for their eternal benefit. And then you just need to tolerate their ignorance. You know, just be tolerant. Don't be disturbed by ignorant people. And they may also think that they're helping you, right? It's like, was it you or someone else was saying that you try to help someone, but it ends up disturbing them? So they may be coming with best intentions, thinking, oh, you know, Sunil, he needs to eat fish to be strong. He needs protein. He's, you know, a young man. He needs good nutrition, and fish is very healthy. You know, they're thinking like that. It's just ignorance, right? But they're trying to help you, but it's ignorant. They're They're not helping you at all. They're just making you disturbed. So whatever, you just have to be tolerant. And you tolerate them and go on practicing your Krishna consciousness with determination and knowing what's right. It's like, yeah, Arjuna says the same thing about the Kauravas. He says that these people are so ignorant, they're intent on war, but why should I, who knows the higher values of life, do the same thing? They're ready to kill people, for the kingdom. Why should I come to their level and also kill just for a kingdom? So, like, say these people are ignorant. They're, wanting me to do something that's, irreligious. But why should I come to their level and get angry and upset? You should take the high road and be peaceful and be tolerant, be compassionate, and just very gently tell them, thank you very much, but I don't eat fish. And you can just pack that up and take that home with you. And next time you come, if you want to bring something, bring some sabji or chana or rice or atta or, something that I can use. Okay. Sundar Kumar. Oh, wait, we're already over time. I think we might have to stop. Unless it's a quick question.
To continue, I wanted to continue this question, but it's okay if time is over. No need.
Okay. Yeah, we better wrap it up. So if you want it, you can put it in the WhatsApp group, and then I can say a few more things if you need.
Okay.
Otherwise, you can also save it for tomorrow's class. Hopefully we'll have some time tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll finish chapter 5, so go ahead and read till the end of chapter 5. Okay, Kishori? You have some homework.
Yes, Mataji.
All right. Good. Thank you very much, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol.
Prabhupada Maharaj ki jai, all glories to Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.